Hello everyone, it's Mich here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to work some more in my summer spring garden story junk journal. I have put out a couple videos in the past week. Sorry if I'm bombarding you with a lot of videos right now. It's just I have some ideas in my head. So if you're new here, what this playlist is about, well, the playlist is called Junk Journal Joy, and it's just going to be a playlist of where I put the journals that I'm working on. So currently I'm doing the garden story, and it is a digi kit that was designed by Rach and Bella Crafts along with Angela Kerr. And right now there's a collaboration going on. If you want to see other videos, just use the hashtag journal jigsaw. But what they have done is they've put a playlist of people who are going to do certain prompts between March 15th and April 15th. So if you want to find out who's in on that, I'll leave the link in the description box below. I first heard about it from Marnel over at Mimi's Keepsake, and she's on the design team. So I'm not part of the actual collaboration, but I love the kit so much that I just wanted to play with it. So here I am. We have done a couple little projects already, but the project that I want to work on today is... It just kind of the inspiration came to me yesterday. One of the prompts that has already been out there, which was one of I think the second day of the collaboration, was called Secret Garden Pockets. So there was a couple of videos that were posted, and when I kind of was thinking about that prompt, I was thinking, well, what would I do if I was, well, what will I do? So that's been in my mind. And then the first little project that we did together, this one here with the waterfall, and I was doing the little slits, it kind of reminded me of a technique that we used to do. I mean, it's been going on, like, it's not a new the technique, but I would do it more in relation to cards, and that's like a little slider. So you have a little slot. Stampin' Up! Actually has some punches that are little slots, but you don't need anything elaborate like that. And then you have a little kind of mechanism that just slides. So I started playing around with that idea, and I thought, well, that would be great if I took an image and then I just made a little slider so that the little secret pocket comes out of the little slider. And so when it's rigged up properly, it would be kind of secret, because I tried to use two of the same images so that when the slider was in, and I've made this slot a little bit too big, but it kind of is hidden. And then if you put an image on here, then you'd have a little secret garden hidden slider pocket. So it was kind of my theory. And I know there's probably a lot of simple ways that you can do this, but what I wanted to do for my journal is that I took a piece of their lovely background paper, and then I had a couple of these little border dies, and I cut the edge of the border. And when you cut that, it actually trims the piece, but it gives you a little border as well. So I then just took some navy cardstock and I cut out a little trim so that I've got this kind of background for my image. And then I'll set that aside. So what I did is I took this little image here, which I absolutely love. So this came in a sheet of different journal cards, and I just went on PowerPoint. I don't have Photoshop or anything elaborate for any kind of editing, but I use Photoshop a lot, and I just cropped out the image, and then I put it onto a background paper. Now, you don't have to do that at all. You can just cut the image out and put it on the little envelope that we're going to use, but this is how I did it. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to have a piece, which I already cut out, which is a little bit bigger than the inside piece because it obviously has to fit inside there so that it can slide. So I then just cut it out so that there was a little bit of an edge there. And you can put this on your scoreboard, or you can just fold it along. I'm just using that. There's a little border line there. Sorry if there's a glare on my glass mat. I've been meaning to try to get a mat that is not glass, but okay. And then so we'll fold down those sides. You can take this over to your scoreboard, and I want to make sure that the edges are flush. I'm using about a 1/2 inch border there, and this end I've chopped right off because that is going to be the opening. So I'm just going to do this side. Excuse me if my head gets in the way. Okay, and we'll just fold that down, and then I'm just going to take my scissors for right now, and I'm just going to round that off. Okay, and then just out of cardstock, I just made a little border background piece, and that's going to be our background mat that I'm going to put on here eventually. Okay, perfecto. So then I've got my trimmer, and I've actually changed the blade so that it's really sharp, and I need to decide where I want the slit to go. So in the kit, the add-on kit, there was also this little beehive, which is just an image. So I want to put that on top there. So I'm kind of thinking that I want my little slide to not be that obvious. So I'm kind of thinking maybe like there. So, and I don't want it to go past the edge of my diagram. So kind of thinking that I don't really want it to go maybe along that line there, so that it's not really cutting off the bee's head. So if I come along there, and then that kind of sits up there, that I think that might work. Yeah, maybe about there. Okay, so, but I don't want any past like that mark there. So just like what we did with the waterfall card, I'm going to set this down, and I'm going to make a little slit, and I'm going to start, I'm trying to, that's probably not exactly straight, but it is kind of straight along that line. So I'm going to set my blade down right around where the slit is, and I'm going to go out to roughly 3 3/4. Okay, so for the waterfall card, we moved it about 1/8 of an inch. I'm not moving it that much. I'm going to move it like a 1/16, and then I'm going to put the blade back down and cut it. So I've got a little slit there now, and I'm just going to use my little knife to just cut that out. You could do this by hand. I'm just not that great with cutting a slit by hand. Okay, and then we'll just cut that off. So then we have our little slit there. And I'm just going to take my eraser. And I just want to see if my little mechanism is there. It's not quite far enough back, so I do need to take that back a little bit further. So I'm just going to do maybe like another 1/4 of an inch. And this is what's actually going to be under the thing, so I'm not too worried about that bit. Okay, so if that's up there, I think that would work. All right, so now that we've got our slit made, I'm just going to take my bone folder and I'm going to crease this down really well. I want to get rid of a lot of bulk here because I don't really need all that bulk. So I can cut this away a little bit more on there. This is just the track where it's going to sit. But the flatter it sits, I think the more secret that it's going to be. That you may not notice it so much. Alright, so now I'm just going to take my glue and just be careful not to get it inside, or else it's not going to slide at all. And I'm just going to glue this onto my navy blue piece of cardstock. And then this will form sort of the base of the sliding pocket. And sometimes I think we might want to keep something secret. I remember I was doing a journal, and I had it here to show, but I left it in my other room. But you might want to, I don't know, make a secret little note between you and God or something, and a little prayer or something, that it doesn't really matter if somebody else sees it, but you kind of want to keep it to yourself sometimes. I'm not liking how I didn't get that right on the line. So with a little secret pocket where nobody knows about it but you, then I think that's really cool. And if you were to do something like this and sell it, then you could make a little note to the person on that page and say that there's a secret pocket there. Okay, this isn't lining up for me. I'm fiddling around here. There. Okay, I think that's got it. I just want it like a wee little bit of blue, not too much. Just to sit on there as kind of a frame, a bit of a frame. And I think that works. It's a little bit off on the side there. It's enough to peek through. And it's a junk journal. Everything doesn't necessarily have to be exactly perfect. Okay, so we've got our background piece. So the next thing that we need is a little mechanism. So the one that I've used, I've taken just a piece of copy paper. Just something that's going to be light, but yet it should still be sturdy. And I've scored it at 1/2, 1, 2, and 2.5. Okay, and then we're just going to fold it so that it's evenly folded. So I'm just going to start by folding that bits, and then I'll show you. So just along each score, you're just going to fold. Really doesn't have to be exactly perfect. And then once you've folded it on each of those lines, you're going to bring them in to the middle and out. So it's going to look like this piece. It's going to look something like that, like a little froggy jumping, little froggy legs. And then we're going to glue down this middle bit here. So we're going to glue that there, inside there. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue just on this little square and this little square. And then I'm going to push it together like so, but we don't want the two top flaps because that's what your image is going to sit on. Okay, so now we got our mechanism, so we'll set that aside. So then the next thing I want to do is I want to make like an envelope, just a coin envelope. You could very well do this, just make the envelope and then cut your image out and put your image on top. You could do it however you want it to, but I wanted to do it this way. So my image is about 2 3/4. So I need about 1.5 inches on each side, because you need at least double to wrap round and create your pocket. Okay, and then I want about 1 inch for the top flap, and about 1/2 inch for just the bottom flap. Okay, and then so I'm just going to cut that out. I love this scoreboard because it actually has a line, a metal wire that helps guide me to where I need to cut things. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And then there. And then here. Okay. So I am going to get my little scoreboard for this one. Don't have to. You can just, well, for the sake of a lot of people may not have a scoreboard, I'll just fold it. So again, because I made this image a little bit smaller than the other one, if you didn't, you just need to fold it a little bit smaller. Then we just need to fold along the line. I might need to make this a wee bit smaller, but we'll test it out before we commit, because we can make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so then we'll get something like that. So what we're going to do is just, here's the lines of the score there. And then I'm just going to a fraction of an angle. So if there's my score line, I'm just going to cut, starting from where the two scores meet, I'm just going to cut a little bit at an angle like that. And the same on this, just a wee bit, not as much as what we did on the other one. Okay, so I just want a little bit of an angle. And that just helps things. And the same here. Just a wee little bit of an angle on both sides. Okay. And then the same there. And just a wee little bit there for the front flap. Not much at all, actually, on this side, because we're going to round the corners on that one. And then a little bit there. Okay, so when we close this up and glue it, it should slot in there. Perfect. Okay, so you're really not going to see the back because it's going to be slotted in there. I do want to make that a little bit even. So I'm just going to take a wee bit more off this one. It didn't sit right. Okay, so I'm just going to use my corner rounder to round these corners. You can just cut them if you like. I can get that on there. There we go. So there's one. Okay, so we've rounded our little corners there. And then because we're not going to really see the back side, I won't worry about rounding those corners. I only want, so I'm going to just put a little bit of glue there to keep that shut. And then we'll put some glue here to keep this end bit shut. Okay, all the way up to there. And I'm just making sure there's nothing that's spilled out. So then what we're going to do is we're going to put that into about where we want it. And I'm trying to line up, sorry if I'm out of frame for a minute. I'm trying to line a little bit up the B in the back with the B. Needs to come over there. So kind of like that. So when you look into it, yes, you can see there's something a little bit off maybe, but so then I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm going to make a mark about 1/4 inch starting at the end of the slot there, right there. And then I'm going to take my mechanism and I'm going to glue it on top of there. So I'm going to turn it over. And then I'm just going to glue it down there. Okay. And it's not tacky. And then I'm going to open this up and I'm going to stick it on the slot there. Okay, and then I'm just going to spread that open like so. And then push it down. So then I'm going to take my little image. Oh, that's so cute. And I'm going to glue it. I'm going to glue it. And I'm actually, it's just so that I don't get glue on the other bit. For right now, I'm just going to put a little guard there. Although, I want that, I think about there would look good. Okay, so then we've got our little card. I'm just going to let that dry before I try to move it. And then, so I want to put that about there. But because I want to make it a little bit secret, I want to camouflage it a little bit. So to camouflage it, what I thought I would do is I would actually make this a pocket. So that's the front. So I'm going to put this, just going to put a little bit of glue. If I had a more steady hand. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue there. And then I'm just going to center this as best I can, kind of there. And I'm just going to press it down. And then I'm going to make this whole thing a pocket as well. So I'm just going to make a little bead of glue going around, leaving the top open. Okay. And then I'm just going to get close my book a little bit. And I want that, I think about there. Just trying to get it somewhat straight. Okay, and then I'm going to press it down. Okay. And then I've got this cotton lace that I got at the dollar store. But I absolutely love it. It reminds me of, I don't know, I think my childhood. I think I had a nice little crocheted like sweater that felt a lot like this. So I thought maybe we could get that down. And to put that down, I'm just going to use some Fabri-Tac. And you could decorate, obviously, you know, a lot more than what we'll do today for the sake of time and the fact that I hope I'm not boring you guys. Sometimes I just get so passionate about something. Oh, look. And that gives it some texture as well. Okay, and then I made a little journal card, so I just took some of the background paper. That image was one that I had, but this was part of the kit. And some people don't have sewing machines, and I think sometimes just doing a faux little stitch around there kind of looks cute. So I thought we could slide that up in here, except this is coming off. So that should fit in there. So that corner settles down. And then there's just one of the little images from the kit, and this was one of the little tags. And just one little note about the little reinforcers. So I have a couple ways to make a little reinforcer. You know, I do have one of these little ones that makes them, and then I also have just a round circle punch that I'll cut out the round circle, and then I'll use my same hole punch and I'll make one. But another kind of hack is, and you probably already know this, but so at Staples or Walmart or wherever, you can get the little reinforcers. And then I just take my Distress Oxides and I just make them whatever color I want them to be. And so I kind of like this brown one. So we've got our little reinforcer, which I didn't put on completely straight, but that's okay once I get some ribbon or something there. Okay, so there's our page. So let's check it out. So we're flipping through and somebody's having a look at our book and they say, oh, isn't that cute? Oh, look at all the little tags, and they keep going by, but they don't realize that there is a little hidden pocket that we can put a little note in, maybe a little message between me and God, or maybe, I don't know, maybe a little gift card, or maybe just something little special. And then we would have a little secret pocket. So that's all that I have for today. If you did like this tutorial, please give me a like. And I'd love for you to subscribe. Today, this will go out today, which is Wednesday, and I'll have a Daphne's Diary up in a couple days on Friday. So I'm hoping that you'll check that out. And until we meet again, I hope you stay safe and well, and bye for now.